He never spoke a word in Scripture. He never argued. He never resisted. Yet his name is forever linked with one of the most volatile moments in the early church. One man's presence, misunderstood and misrepresented, sparked a riot, nearly cost Paul his life, and set the stage for the gospel to reach the heart. Trophimus was a Gentile Christian from Ephesus, a bustling port city in Asia Minor, known for its wealth, trade, and the grand temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. We first meet him briefly in Acts 24. Paul arrived in Jerusalem to deliver offerings from Gentile churches and to demonstrate his respect for Jewish customs. Yet, many in the city were suspicious of him. Rumors had spread, accusing Paul of rejecting the law of Moses and defiling Jewish traditions. Then, it happened. Acts 21:27-29 tells us that some Jews from Asia, likely from Trophimus' hometown, spotted Paul in the temple and jumped to a dangerous conclusion. That Trophimus didn't enter the temple, he didn't start the argument, he didn't defend himself, but his presence as a Gentile was all it took to spark violence. It was a perfect storm: cultural tension, religious suspicion, and the fragile peace between Rome and the Jews. And in the middle of it all, Trophimus, silent, misunderstood, and swept away by the tide of events. Because of this incident, Paul is arrested and eventually sent to Rome. There he writes letters, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, Philemon, that shape Christian theology. For in the mystery of God's providence, a misunderstanding becomes a mission. Without Paul's arrest, there might be no prison epistles, no gospel sharing with Roman guards, no proclamation of Christ at Caesar's doorstep. And while Trophimus disappears from Acts, he isn't forgotten by Paul. In Timothy 4:20, Paul writes near the end of his life, Trophimus I left sick in Miletus. This final mention is brief, but meaningful. It shows that Trophimus continued with Paul even after the storm in Jerusalem. He didn't abandon the mission, he remained faithful, and even in sickness, even in silence, he was present. Trophimus was not a preacher, not an apostle, not a miracle worker. But God used his presence, his misunderstood identity, as part of a much greater story. In a world that often judges by appearances, assumptions, and bias, Trophimus reminds us, even the misunderstood matter. Even the unseen are seen by God. And your quiet faithfulness, your willingness to walk alongside others, can carry eternal weight. So whether you feel unnoticed, misjudged, or invisible in your service, know this: God sees you. God uses you just like he used Trophimus. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe,